Hello, and thank you for watching the Q&A for Curtain Up. My name is Yuxi Lai. I'm a programmer for the Austin Asian American Film Festival. And with great excitement, it's my pleasure to introduce Co-Director Kelly Hui. Hi,
Hi,
Kelly.
everyone. Hello. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for creating this film. It was one of my favorite films of the festival. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I really wanted to start, like, how did you find this school, and then what drew you to making this film?
Right. So I guess this kind of dates back to fall 2018. My co-director and co-producer Hui Tong, who can't be with us today, he actually got a head start to this project. So there's a funny story. We're actually classmates at Columbia Journalism School in New York, and this started as a school project. So Hui comes from China, and he's also always been very interested in the arts and in children education. So he sought out several Asian American like art and theater groups, and he came across Ms. Bayok Lee, who's the founder of the National Asian Artists Project and also the founder of this very special PS124 theater club that we featured in our film. So he started following them in the fall, I guess like September, October 2018. And then he just started filming them, I think a day after he visited them. And
Wow,
then,
okay.
Yeah, I think he was just really drawn to the very adorable kids and how open they are to us. So I joined him about a month or several weeks after. And then yeah, we just started filming the kids. Initially, they were doing Aladdin, which was not featured in Curtain Up. If you guys have seen the film, we sort of followed them through a semester of doing Frozen. Yeah, so we started filming them in 2018 all the way to a year after, maybe summer 2019. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think one of the things I loved about this film were how honest and open the kids were. Were they naturally that way? Did you have to get them to warm up to the camera, or were they just naturally just telling everything and all their emotions and their opinions to the camera?
Yeah, that was also one of my favorite things about kids. About this bunch of kids. I come from a journalism background. We don't usually interview kids that much. So I was really struck by how candid and how unfiltered a lot of their responses were. And I really appreciated that. And to answer your question, I think one advantage of working with an ensemble cast is that we had a lot of kids there were like over 30 kids in the theater club. So each of them reacted to us differently. Of course, there were some that were a little more shy under the camera, so in front of the camera. So I think we were very fortunate that we had William and Charlotte, whom we saw fit to cast as like our main characters. And they're very different from each other, but pretty candid in general and comfortable with us, comfortable in front of the camera, comfortable just like hanging out with us. And I think it did take a while for all these children to sort of like warm up to just having cameras thrust into their faces every rehearsal. But I think, yeah, they pretty much got there. And we also tried to sort of speak to them and interact with them as friends, just to ask them about their lives, so that we're not really specifically there for a project, if that makes sense. So yeah, I think suffice to say that quite a few of them warmed up to us over time, and we're very thankful for that.
Yeah, it seems like all their responses are very natural.
Yeah,
very genuine, very natural.
Yeah, they're just being themselves.
Yeah. But so how about the parents? Usually I feel like the older generation or first generation that come here, they're very camera shy. They don't talk about themselves very much. Did you have to do anything special with the parents to get them to talk about the kids?
So for the parents, it took a while too. So we sort of discussed among ourselves and thought that for this two main characters and our two sort of secondary characters, Alvin and Jack, we really wanted to have some home scenes, film them at home, kind of like in their natural habitat outside of school. But a lot of the homes, well, all of the home scenes actually happen later on in our filming process, not at the start. So you're right, like that it took some time for us to build rapport with the kids and then the parents before, we even sort of like dared to ask, hey, can we hang out with you guys at home, and that they allowed us to go into their homes. But so we've been doing a few of these panels for a while now, and one incident that Hui and I always loved sharing was actually something that wasn't so nice that happened between us and the kids. So I think like midway through filming, we actually got into a misunderstanding with some of the children. I think they started wondering why we're there all the time. So they had rehearsals like twice a week and we're always there. And we started to sort of know a lot about their lives, maybe more than they wanted us to. And then at one point they sort of like started calling us stalkers.
Oh no.
Yeah, it was really funny. And then initially we were like, oh my gosh, this is like a crisis in our filming, in our storytelling journey, because are we gonna be able to continue filming them? And that all happened before we even got to talk to the parents, like really film them in their homes and stuff. But then later on, like I think a week after, we spoke to the children, like sort of just had a very honest conversation with them, and I think they were also feeling quite apologetic about the way, they sort of like shunned us. And then we sat down also with William and Jenny, his mom, who's featured in the film, to talk about it. And actually it was after this incident that they really got what we were trying to do, that we wanted to do a sort of like a longer form documentary, and we weren't just like a run and gun team who were going to be there for a while. So after this crisis, it kind of brought us closer to the kids and gave us more confidence actually to ask if we could visit their homes. And I think that was the point actually when the parents and the children both better understood what this documentary was about and why we're always there.
Yeah.
So
have the kids and parents, I think they've probably seen the film, right? How do they react to watching themselves on film?
Yeah, they were the very first ones to see it actually. We held I think in end of 2019, December, we held a screening at the school, at the elementary school. I think they were all pretty happy, I think, or like surprised at some scenes that we captured. But of course, if you ask them now, because they're like in 7th grade now, they were in 5th grade then. Some things may have changed. I guess like Charlotte often says there are so many things that she shouldn't have said, things like that. But there weren't any like major comments. I guess I think they enjoyed it.
Okay. Yes, it's a great film, and I think I hope it gets people to push, at least consider putting their kids in non-academic roles and having a little more fun. Were you surprised by any of the experience of the kids as they're going through the American education system? Did you find anything that was surprising to you?
I guess speaking from a personal perspective, felt like I should have said this at the start, but I'm not Asian American. I'm Singaporean, and I'm actually back home in Singapore right now. I guess maybe personally I had certain assumptions. So I didn't live in the US before. It was just for the time when I was in school at Columbia. So it was like about 2 years. I guess I had some personal assumptions about being in an American society and just sort of like, all these values, freedom and values that are often touted, and thinking that, kids would be allowed to do whatever they want to do. And then when I sort of got inducted into this Asian American community through PS 124, I realized that it's not so straightforward, and that I was very surprised personally that a lot of their growing up experiences was very similar to me when
Mm.
I was growing up in Singapore, and even to a certain extent now in my adult life, I guess that parents and society tend to have certain expectations of, you know, what you should be professionally, and this whole thing about, you know, the kids talk about their parents wanting them to be a doctor, to be a lawyer. It sounded so familiar to me, and I think I was, yeah, that was surprising for me. But I think what we also tried to incorporate in Curtain Up is like a tapestry of different experiences for the kids that not out of, not, well, they maybe all of them went through to a certain extent this kind of like society or family tension, but to different extents, right? And their family backgrounds are kind of different. The reason they want to do theater is also kind of different. Some of them think they want to be an actor, some just want to do it like for fun. So I guess, I mean, this is kind of like sliding off the question a little bit, but I think what we also wanted to show through Curtain Up is that the Asian American experience can't you know, be simplified into just like a narrow narrative, that through each of these kids we kind of see that it's a little bit different. So there's no one defining Asian American experience, and yeah, that was like a really good takeaway for me as well from someone who's coming from the outside.
Okay. Yeah, that kind of pressure from the parents to, you know, really focus on the academics and not the arts is I'm finding more universal than than expected.
Right.
Yeah, but it was just nice to see the kids enjoy themselves and really like throw their passion into theater.
Yeah, I think it was also, and also the parents sort of like insistence that they focus on all this this certain paths. It's also not so clear cut. Like one of our favorite scenes is when, you know, William was performing on stage at the Junior Theatre Festival, and then his mom, we sort of caught his mom sort of look beaming with pride at him with in the audience, and then at the end he also talks about how she's been asking about middle school theater opportunities for him. So in a way it's also like she does want to support his dream in that sense. Yeah. Even though like right in front of him she would say, no, you shouldn't be doing this. I'm so, you know.
Right. Yeah. And it feels at the end that the parents have changed quite a bit as well. They've grown to see the joy and the beauty of their kids doing the theater. Yeah,
and it was such a privilege to be able to capture and witness some of that too.
Yeah. So you said the film kind of wrapped up in the middle of 2019. So you kind of didn't miss the being impacted by the pandemic during filming, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, I guess we were pretty fortunate. By the time the pandemic hit, we were primarily doing like distribution and yeah, so because their Frozen production already ended, so it kind of, that was kind of like our timeline. We filmed them a little bit after they graduated to middle school, so that was the summer, you know, in 2019 for 2019. Yeah.
So, but did the pandemic affect anything else?
Yeah, I guess like that all the screenings like now
all virtual,
are going virtual. But yeah, I mean, I don't know about Hui because he stayed on in New York for a while, but we are right now both, so he's based in China and I'm right now based in Singapore. So I guess for me, it was kind of like in a different way, a blessing in disguise that I could still, you know, participate virtually, because I don't know if I would have flown to every single festival in North America, but I think it was, I mean, we definitely wish to be able to see how our audiences have reacted, like, you know, and there's just something special about seeing films on a big screen, right, rather than like in front of your computer or your TV. So yeah, we kind of regret that, but I guess, I mean, yeah, it's the best that we can do under such circumstances.
Yeah. So this is your first feature film, right?
Yeah, it's actually my first time filming yeah, like my first endeavor in filmmaking.
So congratulations. That's a really I think you did a really good job for your first film. Do you want to continue in doing documentaries, or where do you think you're gonna go next?
Yeah, so personally, I'm a news journalist in Singapore, so I write for a newspaper. And dabbling into documentary is sort of like my way of expanding my new storytelling skill set. So I am working on a couple of projects right now back home. So I do hope to continue making documentaries while also being a journalist. So maybe not going the route of like an independent full-time filmmaker, but just using it as another tool in my storytelling toolbox. But my partner Hui, I think he's more, I mean, even before starting Curtain Up, I think he was quite determined that he would want to be an independent filmmaker. So I think, I mean, I don't want to speak for him, but yeah, that's probably the route that he would be going. So really looking forward to future films of his.
All right. Well, congratulations once again for making a beautiful film. We're gonna close this Q&A now. So thank you, Kelly, for taking the time to speak to us.
Yeah, thanks, Yuxi, and thank you to the festival for screening Curtain Up. Hope you guys enjoy it.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.